What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully, you guys are doing well and taking care of yourselves. Today, we found a really interesting piece of architecture, like archaeology, humanities, art is kind of what we're looking at here today. A 7,000-year-old alien like skull head, banana head type art piece was found by Polish and Kuwaiti researchers. So I want to talk to you about this because it's really cool. It almost looks like a burlap sack put over somebody's face, and then it has like these like reptilian slanted down eyes that are really slit closed, really tightly cut, almost like if you put like a knife through butter, kind of what that would look like. And then like it has like a banana shaped head towards the back, and this is from 7,000 years ago. This is like they're talking about 5,000 BC, six millennium BC, the first of its kind ever found in Kuwait. Similar finds have been unearthed in ancient Mesopotamia. Now, this article was dated December 17th from livescience.com. Archaeologists in Kuwait discovered a 7,000-year-old clay figurine. They call it figurine, but it's just a head bust that looks eerily similar to a modern day depiction of an alien. But what this figurine may look, uh, but while this figurine may look more supernatural than human, its style was apparently very common in Mesopotamia, although it's the first of its kind ever to be found in the Arabian Gulf. So, the small, finely crafted head with slanted eyes, a flat nose, elongated skull was found during excavations this year at Bara 1, a prehistoric site in northern Kuwait, where a joint Kuwaiti Polish team had been excavating since 2009. It makes you wonder why we had, the Kuwaiti Wars, the Gulf Wars, going back to the early 90s, 91, 90, and we continued it all the way up till 2000 and on until 2010 and 2020. We're still there. We've been there for like 30 years. It's ridiculous. Um, they said we were going after weapons of mass destruction. We had to stop Saddam. I think that we wanted digging rights. I think that we were digging for some technology, alien tech, or some kind of alien artifact, some kind of power weapon. When they say weapons of mass destruction, hey, maybe they were looking for a weapon of mass destruction, but it wasn't human. Okay? So they've been excavating there since 2009. Bara 1 was one of the Arabian Peninsula's oldest settlements, with occupation lasting around 5500 to 4900 BC. Okay? So during this time, Bara 1, the culture originated in Mesopotamia. It was known for its distinctive pottery, including its alien like figurines. The interesting thing is, this was around the new Stone Age societies in the Arabian Gulf. They had a collision of peoples, so to speak, a cultural exchange at that time. So a lot of this stuff got buried. A lot of this stuff they didn't want to get destroyed, so they buried it. The discovery of the figurine was a total surprise for the whole team, as it was the first of its kind. That's really interesting. A first of its kind. There's so many things that are buried right underneath our feet. Have you ever tried to dig in your backyard? I mean, if you're lucky enough to own a house, I've moved a few times and I've had to dig a few times, and every time I dig, even if it's been cleared by all the electric companies and gas companies, I always hit something, whether it's a tree root, whether it's a wire that they didn't mark. I have no idea what it is. Sometimes it's old telephone wire, and sometimes it's just like a straight up like metal wire. Could be a grounding wire. Sometimes you hit like old coins. Sometimes it's unbelievable what is like a few inches below our feet. And I mean, think about it. I mean, we've had millennia, not just centuries, millennia of human beings here creating things. Why do you think they created something that looked like an alien with a burlap sack over its head 7,000 years ago? These guys were creating things that they saw. You go back to the 30,000 years uh, BC in Australia, the Aborigines in Australia were cave painting. What did they cave paint? What they saw. And what did they cave paint? They cave painted UFO alien ships coming down, abducting cows, abducting cattle, humans. They were abducting, and they were also shooting down laser beams from the ships. And they also show natives shooting arrows at these ships. I mean, the shit's literally insane. And then they have, pictographs of ghosts. They call them different things, but they have spirits that look like they're gray aliens, like the tall grays or tall whites. So the stuff that they made in the Gulf and Kuwait is the same stuff that we've been seeing all along. They make what they see. Keep in mind too that in Kuwait and in Iraq, they've made and found lizard-headed creatures that were not creatures but artwork, claymation or clay artwork that was representative of a lizard being, not just like a lizard, running around in the desert. I'm talking about a bipedal. I'm looking at her right now. A lizard headed female figurine nursing a child dating back to the Ubay period, circa 4000 BC, so that's 6,000 years ago, from Iraq, and it's in an Iraq museum. This is not a human, guys. You look at this thing and it looks like a snake head, and it's nursing. It's nursing. It's literally milking, nursing this little baby, and it's on its breast. Well, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about snakes, but I don't think that they nurse with breasts. So, what kind of alien would this have been? A reptilian that was modified, right? A reptilian that had its DNA modified to be maybe more human and be able to live on this planet. Wouldn't it be interesting if these reptilians were still around and not too happy about us being here and they went underground and we're strutting around here thinking this is our planet. We're the big high and mighty alphas and we're at the apex. Meanwhile, these lizards are underneath our feet, just pissed off because we're thinking we're tough shit. So that's 6,000 years ago, and they even have, according to the University of Chicago, the newfound figurine is likely imbued with symbolic meaning, even though the figurine was discovered in a mundane activity area, not like a special or symbolic place. Uh, this thing really has some symbolic meaning to it. So they have an archaeologist named Aurelia Dames who wrote about this in some of her books. The Ubaid Ophidian figurines that they find, apparently, one idea suggests that sculptures show some artificial cranial deformation, also known as head shaping. Have you seen, some of these African tribes, they try to shape their necks to be longer, and they think that some ufologists think they do that because the aliens were here and they're trying to be like the aliens and stretch their necks out. They also other tribes have also extended the head. They wrap things around the skull to elongate the skull, which is kind of interesting. I mean, sounds like it's pretty painful, or it could be painful, but it's kind of interesting because, like, if you can elongate the skull, then theoretically you're kind of making your brain pan a little bit bigger, allowing the brain to, like, extend backwards a little bit more. So I almost wonder if it doesn't help, kind of like how braces help our smile, if that doesn't help increase your brain size and increase your thought process, and maybe they're trying to be similar to these aliens, and maybe it would function like helping in telepathy. The larger your brain, the more capable you might be to communicate telepathically or have telekinetic capability. That's what this particular bust of a head is what I'm going to call it, head bust, um, is really showing me. It shows the banana shaped, larger brain pan kind of look to the back of it, but it just looks like a burlap sack kind of over a banana headed alien with like slits for eyes. Kind of looks snake like, but it really reminds me. If you saw that the Christian Bale Batman Begins, where they had oh god, what's his name? The guy with the bag for the head, Scarecrow. Kind of looks like that because it was made on. This is made out of clay, so it has that look. But the nose you can see the nose coming down from the forehead, but then it's like super flat, and it has just like a little hole for one side of the nose and a little hole for the other side. So it's almost like it has no point. It's like you chopped off the point, of the nose, and kind of the nostrils too. Almost it's very flat face, very interesting. I love seeing these. It makes me think about what other architecture there is out there. I became super fascinated with humanities when I took it in college, because the humanities professor was super interested in these reptilian figures that were found in Iraq, and we talked about it a lot. We talked about all of these clay figures from all over the world, but specifically these ones from Iraq, and how these these people saw these things, they carved them, and they made them for a reason, because either they saw them or they worshipped them. If they worshipped them, then they must have been around at some point. All things have a truth to them from somewhere, somehow, some way. So folks that want to believe in you know different religions, things came out of that religion or came to that religion from something. It's not everything is made up. So I find it fascinating. And it's really cool to have professors that are also interested in this stuff and us talking about them. It's been way too many years now since we had that conversation, and it was in class. I mean, that class was a night class. It was an evening class that I took, so we had some older adults in there as well. I was like an 18-year-old kid, but we had some 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds that were interested in humanities, and they had a lot to say, and I was interested too. I was in there, raising my hand, talking about things too that I'd done research on, and my professor and I talked about it at length after class, talking about things. So that was really fun. A lot of fun to talk to him about, and super interesting guy. A guy that he kind of had two voices. He had one voice uh, for after he smoked his cigarette outside, which he smoked a ton of, and then while he was giving his lecture, his voice would crack. His voice would crack, and it would go into like this real high pitch voice, and I was like, God damn, that was just like enough for me to never want to smoke ever, ever. So I really didn't. Just a few cigarettes here and there, but never got hooked. So don't smoke, kids. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely worth it to do some research of your own as well. Go into like the humanities section of your local library. I mean, if you don't even have to do that anymore. I mean, shoot, the internet's out there, but I think there's so much crap on the internet. You almost have to go into a library and find stuff that's in print just to feel like you're validated and the information's legit. So, anyway, just something to think about. I think that this is really cool. This is something that's not probably going to get talked about a lot. They find stuff all the time. They might publish an article, and it just goes by the wayside. We don't hear about it again. So something cool to think about. So anyway, guys, I will let you go. Interesting topic, situation that happened to me today. I'm very happy to be alive because I had a severe amount of abdomen pain this morning, right below, kind of like an inch below the navel, man, and I was in serious pain for like a couple hours. I woke up, I was fine, but then like I don't know, half an hour after waking up, I was up, and then like I had this pain, like you got to go to the bathroom or something, and just no, I could not relieve the pain. I was like, damn, am I going to the hospital? Like, what am I going to do? So, I took some Tylenol. I took some like diuretics. I took like, some things to, you know, allow the stomach to like relax. And, it kind of went away. So, but I was like really worried. I was like, shit, like this is not normal. And it lasted like 2 hours. And I was like, Jesus, like, is this gonna go away? Am I sick? What is this? This doesn't feel like being sick because my stomach wasn't turning. It was just pain, just pain. I was like thinking, I'm like, is this like what an appendicitis feels like? But it was right in the middle. So I was like, this isn't appendicitis. This is right in the middle. This feels different. So I'm happy to be able to do this podcast tonight for you guys. And I'm happy to appreciate life again because sometimes you take it for granted. So appreciate it because you never know when your time's up. All right. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Stay safe. There's a lot of illnesses going on around out there. Uh, a lot of stuff, and that I've been hearing about in my area and other areas too, other areas of the world. So just stay safe. Stay safe. Try to keep healthy. Uh, Wash your hands. Stay away from people if they're sick, and take care of yourself. All right, love you guys. Peace out. Lockdown Universe out.